All right. Now, today is a very important day. It is one that has gone relatively unmarked in the media because they would like the current state of nothing to continue for as long as possible. We are on the final countdown now of this parliament. We are on the final countdown towards an election. You know that, I know that, but let's actually put a number on it. The day this term runs out is May 17, 2025. That means from this day, count them. We've got 60 days left of Albo, maximum. 60 days left of one of the worst Prime Ministers of all time and a man who could even outdo Rudd Gillard Rudd for bad performance. Now, he has essentially been campaigning since January and, of course, not campaigning during cyclones. Yet he says they are not campaigning. They are governing. They are still ruling this country with the iron fist that has made everything worse for the past 3 years.
The issue of the cyclones on topics, will it have any effect on the election time?
We're governing, and that's what we're doing today. I know there's others are interested in election timing. What I'm interested in is getting things done on behalf of the country.
Now, of course, we have been keeping an eagle eye on almost $44 billion worth of promises that he has made since the start of January. This isn't governing, this is campaigning. This is what he has been doing up and down the country, from east to west, north to south, and whatever he can get his hands on of your money.
A $7.2 billion announcement today. $5 million. $10 million. $200 million. $3 billion. $350 million. $2 billion. $37 million. $842 million. $2.4 billion. $8.5 billion. $4.8 billion. $1 billion.
Ridiculous. And of course, they had no plans for the Parliament to return. Instead, because of the timing of the tropical cyclone, they have had to return to Parliament, but it may only be for a few days. It, of course, will be dominated by the budget, which is delivered 1 week from today. Full coverage with our Canberra team, and then, as I said, we come off the bench and we will hit as hard as we have ever hit. And every year when it comes to a budget, we find the hole, we expose it straight away on the same night. It takes plenty of others weeks to get where we'll be. We'll be there right from the first stroke of the show when we take you through the 5 things you need to know about the budget 1 week from now. But one of the more annoying things about the budget is that we have to hear from the Treasurer ruling things in, ruling things out, maybe this, half talking that, half releasing something, half promising something, and he was on that tour today in Queensland.
We've maintained a primary focus on inflation and the cost of living.
Oh no, but before he got to Queensland, it was all there about the cost of living. Their focus is nothing but the cost of living. Reality, of course, that while the polls right now may say that the government is in with more than a fighting chance, more than a likely chance of forming the next government, being able to pretend that they can hold on to power, even though they're going to have to go cap in hand to the Teals, to the Greens and many of others potentially after this election. The reality is that if their apparent focus has been on cost of living, could somebody please explain to me how we have got a country where the government has had the highest amount of tax in a generation, we told you last night, hundreds of billions of dollars, the highest in 19 years of taxation that any federal government has got, yet there are queues around the street for people waiting for food. 3.4 million households in Australia will run out of food by the end of a week. Those are the numbers, not made up by a far right-wing think tank, by the people who are actually there helping the people who run out of food. Yet the federal government spends more money advertising itself via taxpayer ads than it does in handing help to organisations like Foodbank. They will try to change the subject over the next 60 days, and when we know what that election will be, that number will come down pretty quickly. But worst case scenario, 60 days left of this government. They will pretend that the conversation is about Medicare when the reality is that there are millions of people who are in a world of pain. They will try to pretend that this campaign is about Peter Dutton and the Ooga Booga that may well come as he plans not to deliver the never, never promises that will be contained in the budget next week. And 60 days out, may I ask the question that we will ask every day for the next 60 days. We will add more questions to this, but these are the questions that you ask yourself, that you ask your friends, that you ask your family when you debate politics, as much or as little as you will in the next 2 months. This government promised to make things better when it came to cost of living. I've shown you this almost every day of this Prime Ministership because it is a reminder that they came to power on a lie. The big question for 20 million people who will have their vote in just 2 months' time: are you better off than you were 3 years ago? If you answer yes, well, good luck. Vote Green, vote Labor. But for everyone else, time for a change.